This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Throughout the nation and around the globe, from his heart to yours, it's Dear James Live on the radio, here on the Contact Talk Radio Network, bringing you intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dear James Live on the radio, here on the Contact Talk Radio Network. Today is all about express yourself, and I have my first caller holding, so I will be with her momentarily. Just wanted to give you some openings. Today's show is about express yourself. Tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. And like we've said before, there's no topic the universe can't cover, won't cover, and we want you to call in. The first two callers today receive a free 30-minute intuitive consultation with myself. The phone number to call in is 877-230-3062. 877-230-3062. And I'll also be taking, I get calls on I get write-in questions for my advice column. So I also will be reading some of those questions that I receive at DearJames.com. And also on the Dear James Facebook page. People write in as well there. And so I post the advice column there as well. So I'll be answering questions via that format as well throughout today's show. But most importantly, call in. Have the courage to call in. Call in live, 877-230-3062. And I'm going to be with Carla just in a moment. She's calling in from Illinois, but I'll be with her in just a second. So hang tight, Carla. I'm coming to you next. 2014 has been a banner year. That's the only way I can put it. It's had a lot of interesting elements taking place. And it is a year where we are going to keep facing our challenges so that we cleanse them. We purify and cleanse them and release them. Kind of deal with it and release it. Mars, who's an actionary planet, has been a retrograde, and it just turned direct. And I want to tell you that there's hope here in the land of 2014 because there's also a grand water trine taking place. And I am not an astrologer, but I do follow astrology. I love it. And I find that it's probably one of the wisest and oldest ways of intuiting what's going on. And so you have Jupiter, Saturn, and the Moon all aligning in a grand water trine. And so these three stellar 3-point alignments has the power to create healing balance of realism and optimism. So it's going to lift you up, it's going to carry you forward, and it's going to renew your inspiration. And I know for myself, I'm certainly looking forward to that. And I think for others, it's a renewal it's an opportunity. So take advantage of this grand water trine and embrace the positive energy, even if you're having a tough time figuring out how to move yourself forward. Take that opportunity. Then it can lead you to good breakthroughs, but you have to be earnest and authentic in that pursuit. So more importantly, if you look at this grand water trine, it's an opportunity. It's your chance or opportunity to find closure, to evolve, and to brighten your life with the support of the universe. So really get in there. Look at things that you want to change in your life. Be willing to look at yourself. Be willing to be raw, exposed, and vulnerable with yourself. And from there, move yourself forward and take light, take opportunity from the universe here. They're always giving us the opportunity to evolve and to grow and to change. And that's what we want to do in 2014. With that in mind, today's show is Express Yourself. Tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. So we're going to go to Carla from Illinois. Hello, Carla. How are you?
Oh.
Carla, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Good, good. What's happening? What do you want to tell me?
Well, first time that I've actually been able to listen to your show, and I was recommended that I call in because I've been struggling with this issue for 6 years. I lost my partner of 15 years. She died unexpectedly, traumatically in my arms, and I broke down. So 4 years of hell passed in denial and complete suicide mission, basically, and I lost everything. And the last 2 years I have spent healing in isolation, basically, and back home for my kids, struggling in it. All through this time, because I'm also I'm a reader. I'm the tarot reader professionally for 20 years, but I have not been able to connect to her at all. And I mean, I don't understand that. And I have been trying to open up to that and to complete the grieving and make a connection with her. Her name was Jennifer. She was a Virgo. She's a really special person. I knew her my entire life, and we ended up together after knowing her for the first 30 years of my life, and I left my husband, blah, 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 long story. So I want to connect with her or to understand how to do that. Or does that make sense?
I do. And so I'm going to tell you, again, the universe amazes me because, Carla, I just 5 weeks ago lost my father, which was a very traumatic and tough experience for me in life. And so it's very interesting how the callers that have called in last week and this week and everything, they're gifts. And so I understand your pain and so forth. I want to say to you, and also bravo, Jennifer, because she's a Virgo and I'm a Virgo, so she had to have been amazing.
It was.
And
really,
you know, Carla, here's the point, because she's kind of saying to me, you're jamming the signals, and to lay off the gas. You're trying so hard to reach her that you're missing all of the. You know by the craft by which you do tarot readings, and it's all about reading the signs. It's all about intuiting the signs, being conscious and aware of them. And there's a couple things here going on, and funny enough, it ties in a little bit with just before we came on the show today, a comment that my producer Barb made with an issue that she was dealing with, and that she said, I had said, you know, since my father passed, I stopped all my meditations. And she said, yeah, with my issue that I have, I did the same thing. And I said, you know, they're yelling in my head. That's exactly what you're not supposed to do. So here, I think what we have, when we have something traumatic happen, and this is what I'm getting with you, is that it really crushes our faith. It really causes us to question our purpose, our connectivity to source. And, you know, it doesn't, sometimes it breaks it. I don't feel like that with you. I feel like what's happened is that it's pulled the string very tightly. It's caused it to, you've forgotten how to believe. You've forgotten how to have faith, and you've forgotten how to read the signs. You're existing, not living. Is that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
right.
And she's really stepping forward and taking credit here. She's saying, tell her to stop jamming the signals. She's showing me you in a truck or something, and you're mashing the gas on the pedal of this kind of old Ford. I don't know why. That's what she's showing me. Dusty, you know, kind of urban, dusty. Not urban,
that's
sorry.
What he drove.
Okay, so there you go. So she's showing me this truck in kind of a lot of dirt and dust and open area, and she's got her foot mashed on the gas pedal, and she says, can you tell her to stop jamming the signals, like let off the gas? You're trying so hard to talk to her that you're missing it all. You're missing every time she does speak with you. And it's because you've lost your faith. That's the bottom line.
And I know that I did. I could go on and on about it. I know that I did. And for the past few years, I had gone on the road. I met somebody not long after she died, and I was not in my right mind. This person was a true sociopath, had a very large amount of life insurance, which he, one of those classic Jerry Springer stories where, I lost everything to this person. It was just totally insane. And so not only did I lose faith, I lost faith in myself and my ability to question my own judgment. It affected my readings. I couldn't work for several years. I'm back on track with that. I'm trying to move forward, and I just keep feeling like this past, I don't know. I hear what you're saying.
Well,
I hear what you're saying, that I need to back off from trying too hard so that I'm missing her.
Right. Right, because what you're doing is you're jamming the signals. You really are. And the person that you brought to yourself shortly after her passing, or during that time, that was representative of the place that you were in. That was very representative of
my own insanity at that time.
Right, exactly. And so all of those things serve a lesson. She's saying to me, nothing was in vain. Everything you gave up to reach, to be with her, nothing was in vain. There are no mistakes. I'm imparting, if you will, for her. You gave up a lot. You had a lot of fears walking into this relationship. You had a lot of, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if it's right for me. You had a lot of questions, and she was very patient at times and very, get your crud together. Get your crud together.
We were both. Yeah, that's exactly true. But
right.
In a big, huge way, that was true. And I was not at all prepared to be in a same-sex relationship. For one thing, in the whole, I had kids, and there were a lot of that. So that's where that's coming from.
But what she's saying is,
we did make it 15 years, and she got sick.
Right.
So,
well, and you came to a place, what she's saying to me is you came to a place where it took you a long time to be all in. She was all in up front with minor hesitations. You had lots of hesitations and were, and when I say minorly in, you were in, but you were always 1 foot in, 1 foot out for a very long time.
Right.
Because it came with a lot of challenges. So but then you fell.
My family was Jehovah's Witness. So
right. Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can imagine
she's showing
I lost
me that
my entire family through it, but
yeah, she's showing me that you came with a lot of reservations, but then all of a sudden something happened and you fell in. You were in 1,000%.
Yes.
And that's why
my son got ill. My son, and 5 months in, my son was 6 at the time, and he was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor, and that bonded us. That we just got very, very close and depended on each other, and I knew that was what I was going to do for the rest of my life as I knew it, and so that's all correct. You're totally on.
And when what she said to me was that I think the turning point for you was that you found out she wasn't going anywhere even when the time got tough.
Right.
She didn't go anywhere.
Absolutely.
So she's wanting to say back to you, Carla, she's not going anywhere when the times get tough. She hasn't gone anywhere. She may have transitioned, but she hasn't gone anywhere. This was a union for the long haul. And that's what you need to focus on and get back in. It's like knowing that whatever your frame of belief, whether God, Buddha, Allah, nothing, whatever the source, knowing that is a constant guides people and sustains people and gives them life. It gives them an ability to live. And what she's saying to me to convey to you is, I'm here for the long haul. I may have transitioned, but I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. And so if you can slow down and start seeing the beauty in her presence in a new way in your life, and
I needed to believe that. I don't know. Where is she? And did she reincarnate? Her spirit's gone. Where is she?
She's showing me. She's showing me rings and red flowers. Did you guys exchange rings, or did you?
Yeah, I understand it. We did a private, secret little ceremony that included both, and it was real big deal for us. And red flowers, red roses were our flower. And
there you go. So she's showing me the rings and the red flowers, the red roses, and she's saying in that, we made a commitment, and the commitment was for life. Life doesn't end just because someone transitions. I know that you know this. So, and we'll go into a lot more of this when we speak, privately and everything. But I just want you to know, Barbara's going to take your information and everything. And I want you to know, though, Carla, she's there. She's present. She's talking to you. She's telling you to stop mashing the gas, stop jamming the signals, that she's there. And the more that you believe in that, and the more that you start seeing everything, then you're ready to, you're ready to go and
move forward.
Move forward. Exactly. Right. You're going to see how she's walking with you every step of the way. And she's there, and she wants you to have a happy life. She wants you to live, not just exist. Yeah. So those are very important things.
I'm there. I know it's time, and I know that's why I was led to you, quite frankly. And, I'm just sitting here nodding on my end throughout this thing. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we're going to go to a quick break. Michelle is holding from Delaware, so don't go anywhere, Michelle. I'll be right back. We're going to take a quick station break. You're listening to Dear James live on the radio here on the Contact Talk Radio Network. Today's show is Express Yourself. Tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. Call in live. 877-230-3062. Thank you so much, Carla, for calling in. Barb's going to take your information, and we'll be right back after this break.
The desire to be more consciously enlightened is innate. Do you feel there's more to life? If so, find the resource that's right for you by going to DearJames.com/resources. You are the reality you create. Make it a great one. When you ask a question, the universe hears you, and in a multitude of ways, they seek to communicate with you to provide the intuitive insight, answers, and advice you seek. From serious to silly, monumental to mundane, there's nothing the universe can't cover. Maybe the insight you receive is exactly the affirmation you were looking for. Then again, it may just give you a whole new perspective on things. And that's the beauty of the universe. Submit your question to Dear James at DearJames.com and click Ask.
Available for private, individual, group, and corporate consultations, Dear James will provide you with the intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions. Schedule your consultation by going to www.DearJames.com and click on Consultation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dear James Live on the radio here on the Contact Talk Radio Network. Today is Express Yourself, Tell It Like It Is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. And my first caller was Carla, dealing with the loss of a loved one approximately 15 years ago, 6 years ago. And so many, many things that I want to say, and I'm going to jump to Michelle here in just a second, Michelle, so please hold on there, that just because someone, and I don't like using the term dies, because I don't really believe that we ever die. I believe that we transition. And that is a beautiful gift. If you can come to believe and understand that, you will see the signs from your loved ones, you will see the gifts, and you will see that they speak to you. And it's just a transference of energy. And thereby, look at water to an ice cube, back to water. It's all changing energy. That's what it is in its most simplistic form. So call in live. Have the courage to call in, 877-230-3062. And we're going to go to Michelle in Delaware. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, how are you? It's an honor to speak to you, James.
Thank you. Well, it's an honor to have you on the show. Thank you very much. That just made me smile. Thank you. So what's happening?
Oh, my gosh. I've reached probably the lowest of lows right now in my life, both physically and mentally. I'm on disability, and I just think that I need to figure out what my life plan is from here, because my job is my love. However, the position that I am in currently is very toxic, and so I'm at a battle with myself because I don't want to stay there, yet I don't know, what else is coming available for me, so trying to mentally and physically work on myself. I'm also trying to figure out, where do I go from here, because, the disability is going to end and I still have to go on with life. So I just thought maybe you could kind of, give me some guidance and kind of settle me a little bit so that I can keep, working on myself and, bettering myself with some positive reinforcement.
Got it. Okay. Well, there seems to be a theme today, which isn't surprising. Faith. You have an issue with, and hear me out, because, what they're saying to me is, she's a brainiac. She's a smarty. She's smart. But you're lacking faith in yourself and faith in your decisions. I'm going to give it to you the way they give it to me. You're right now, you're taking the easy way out, and they don't like that. They don't like that that where you are and what you're doing and the job and all of this stuff. I mean, you used a very strong word, toxic. And then you're not realizing why you have ailments. And or you realize that that's playing its role, but you're not doing anything about it. So what happens? You get more of the same. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't give yourself the permission, or you talk yourself out of the permission, or you just outright deny yourself the permission to do what you really need to do, because you're fearful and you're lacking the faith to do it. And so you're taking the easy way out, as opposed to, and express yourself and tell it like it is. It has to work both ways. So I want you to hear that I'm being a little tough with you, because they're telling me to be tough with you. They're telling me, hey, she's a very capable, smart, independent. She's got the tools. Some people lack the tools. They're saying to me, you have the tools. You're just choosing to manipulate them, use them the way you want to, as opposed to, okay. Yeah, You have to be really honest with yourself here, Michelle, okay?
Okay.
You have to be honest with yourself, because I can't even say this. I don't think I can say this on the air, so I'm not going to. But you can't, I'll put it this way. You can't BS a BSer. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So if you know, so what I'm saying is don't BS yourself. You are good about talking yourself into things, or not so much talking yourself into things, but I'm losing the word that I want, but in reaffirming what you're doing. There's a word for it, and it's escaping me, but it'll come to me. Anyways, that's what they're saying to me, is that you know the job that you're in is toxic, and you know what it's doing, and you're kind of taking the easy way out by staying.
So I should, well, yeah, because, like one of my bosses was a bully, and I was just losing in that battle. And so I, like now I'm not sure. I feel like I should be going into, putting out my resume for different areas in education.
Right.
But I know that I don't have that confidence. I feel, I applied for a job last year, for example, and I swear I knew I had it, and yet I didn't get it. And it was a real eye-awakening for me, because I've always gotten the jobs that I've wanted. And so now I don't have that confidence again. So I'm really nervous about, letting myself get out there again, because this job did really wear me down. It's the one thing in my life that I'm really good at it, that I know I am. And, the one boss that I had just really wore me down. She didn't say anything good about anything that I did, and it broke any kind of confidence that I had. And so now I'm at a point where I'm not really sure, I'm very insecure.
Who did she remind you of?
Most of the bosses that I've had in my life.
Okay, I'm going a little deeper or farther back. Is there somebody that that their actions or things like that remind you of?
My ex-husband? I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm going that what they said to me right off when you were speaking, and I want to go back to something too. So there's two things. There's some mom issues playing out here. Were you always searching for the attention?
I had a lot of attention growing up.
But were you, in other words, not saying that mom's a bad person by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not alluding to that at all. But you've placed yourself in positions by which you're seeking the approval. You're trying to get approval instead of giving it to yourself. You look at it and say, well, I already have, I'm very confident in all these things, but these people wore me down. They didn't wear you down. You wore yourself down, because you brought them into your life to teach you something. You brought them in so they could show you what it is you're meant to transcend. And what I'm getting is that it's a lesson in faith and inner value, not external stuff. But we only look for approval from others when we feel like we're lacking. Show me that I did a good job. Tell me that I did a good job.
Yeah, and I didn't get that from them at all. I mean, I didn't get any of that.
Right.
And I was doing the job of 6 teachers. I mean, I was basically doing 2 grade levels, all subjects. And it was basically humanly not possible to do that. But, I'm a perfectionist. I'm a seeker, and so I would do the best I could, because I love children, and I'm there for them.
Right.
And I'll give everything to make sure they get, the education they deserve. And I wore myself out trying to keep up with it. And so, and I didn't have any help and no support. So I just got to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what the lesson was in that, to be in that position. because it seemed like it wore me down. It brought me to the lowest of low more than anything.
Right, and it was meant to. It was meant to.
It was?
It was meant to break you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you weren't seeing that. I understand, and then this is going to be, and we'll go into this in more detail, but when we have our private reading, but the issue becomes when we don't listen to the signs, when we don't pay attention to the signs, the universe gives us more. They say, okay, you haven't learned that lesson, or you're not getting the lesson. So we're going to give you more, because that's what you're asking for. If you really step back and look at this, what you're saying on the, your perception, your point of view of it, I know is true. You go in and you do it for these reasons, but underneath that is your intention. You say that you do it for the children and you love children and you'll do anything for the children, and I believe that. The universe is nodding their head in agreement, yes, but that's not the lesson. The lesson was your intention, and your intention was to seek and receive approval, to be the rock star, to be showered with accolades, to have this, see, I'm a good person. Look at the superhuman woman, teacher who loves kids and da-da-da-da-da, she's just superhuman. You're not seeing that why you're doing that. And of course,
that sounds like insecurities then. Well,
it's a form of insecurities can be, for me, they're saying no, that's yes, but no, that's not what's going on. It's about your intentions. They gave you a very strong will. So you have a very strong will, a strong soul, but you're struggling with not becoming a victim. That's what you have to see. You have to see your intentions. What are my true intentions? And if I'm seeking approval, the only person you ever need approval from is yourself, period. It's nice to have it from others, but it's not, if you aren't giving it yourself, if it's not something that sustains you on your own, then there's a deficit issue going on.
So is there something that you can tell me now that I can that'll help, that I can work on? I mean, I don't know what to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because what you have to look at is you need to sit quietly with yourself and get past the first layer. The first layer is what you just told me, that I'll do anything for the kids, and I love teaching and da-da-da. Those are the surface things. Those are my surface cues. You want to look underneath those. You want to get raw and vulnerable with yourself and listen to the universe, to your spirit and soul speak to you to say, okay, when I made this choice, or when I chose to stay, because when you choosing to stay is defiance. You know that it's bad for you, but you want them to validate you. So you stay. The only person you're punishing more is yourself.
So when you say stay, you mean stay in that position.
Right, stay in that position, in that school, in that environment. When you stay, because even if you're out on disability, you're still there.
Right.
You're still there. You're still hanging on to it. And the only person it's harming is you. Because you haven't said to yourself, to your soul, I've had enough. I get the message here. This is causing me to be physically and mentally ill, which is causing me to not be able to work per se, but those are all self-made choices. Every single one of them.
Wow.
So when you start seeing, wait a minute, I'm doing this to myself. They're just showing up as a great mirror. They're there to show you a lesson. I always say there's a cast of characters in the play, and that play can change characters, but the fundamental core issues remain the same until we learn it and transcend it. So with you, what I'm seeing is you're calling in because you're at a precipice of, and there's a future show coming up. It's victim or participant. We have to choose in life. Am I a participant, and thereby I have control over all of these things that are happening in my life? Or am I a victim? Does everything happen to me? Is everyone else, putting things upon me, and thereby I don't have any control over it?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
right.
When you start looking, what you can do, you asked me a specific question. What they want you to do is slow down, sit down, and get very honest with yourself. Not in a derogatory way, not in an abuseful way, not in a, I'm so horrible and I've made all these mistakes and blah, 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 blah. That's all just wasted energy. Don't do that. What they want you to do is just get real. Get real with yourself and start seeing, I made that decision. Oh, I made that decision. Because you've been looking at it from a standpoint of superhuman, it's all for the kids, and why don't you guys see that? And can't you see how great I am? And I'm doing all this great stuff for these kids, and you guys just don't get it. When you start seeing that you were the one not getting it, and it's tough. It's tough, Michelle. And I'm laughing because, I feel for you because I know, there's not a single human being on the planet, so do not feel like you're an island or anything. Every single one of us, including me, we're like, you'll have those epiphany moments of, that was me, wasn't it? Oh, that's what I was really doing. Oh, but we have to be willing to go there with ourselves. We have to be willing to be real with ourselves. Because if we don't do that, then we're a victim, and it's everybody else, everybody else is doing something to us.
Right.
So
and that's probably when they started writing me up, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what?
Right,
what are you talking about?
Right, because your attitude got bad.
Thanks, James.
Don't you love Tell It Like It Is?
Yeah, exactly. But, can I ask you, and I'm not saying this as an excuse, but if you're physically impaired, like my vitamin D was so low, I mean, it was like at a scary low, could that affect you, to a point where, you're not making, decisions, rationally, or, it affects you? I mean, do those kind of things, physical things, affect you at that point too, as well? Or is that an excuse?
I like you. I do.
You do? Oh, good.
I like you, Michelle. No, if you could see me, if we were like on Skype visually and everything, you'd see me while you're speaking. I had just, my grin got bigger and bigger and bigger, because I'm like, I like her. She's fun. Here's the deal. Yes, of course, chemical imbalances and deficiencies and so forth can play a role in things. In this particular instance, even that was a choice, is what they're saying to me.
Oh.
You chose to place yourself. That's why you're on this precipice of victim or participant, because you really kind of chose how to be wounded. You chose how to be more feeble and don't you see that I'm still this superhuman woman with a bad attitude? Do you see how this played out?
And I'm sick. Come on.
Right. Because you're just. They're showing, and it's funny. They're showing me you at the buffet line, not food, but of stuff going. I'm gonna have a little scoop of that and a little scoop of that, and I'm gonna. Oh, that one's a really good one. I'm gonna put that one on too. And you just layered your plate and went. And you all still aren't getting it. Now I'm really angry. Now you're just pissing me off. I mean, so you led yourself there, and you led yourself there with the blind, the Clydesdale horses that have the side blinders on.
Right.
You led yourself there. Your side blinders were, I love kids and I'm doing, my whole life is dedicated to them and da-da-da-da. And yes, that's true. That's a truth. But you did it at an expense because your intentions were misaligned. If you realign your intentions, then everything that happens, you're going to be mindful. You're going to be conscious of, oh, wait a minute. Am I at the buffet line putting something on my plate? Or am I flying high and clear here because I know I'm doing this for the right reason?
And so getting honest with myself, James, does that mean that I need to, like, go through scenarios of the past, couple of years that I've been in this specific position that has, really been the toxic part? I mean, has really been stressful, and kind of going through each scenario and deciding, oh, well, that's why that happened? Is that how I help myself?
Yes. What you're going to do is, and you're not going to have to do much other than sit and be quiet.
Okay.
Sit and be quiet and it's going to play in different ways. You're going to get a feeling. You might get a flash. You might get an image. You might get a sound. You might hear a song or something. It's going to come in multiple different ways. They're going to communicate with you, and you're going to see what I wrote down as you were talking was life forward. So you're going to literally see things from a little girl to all the way through, life. And the theme or the commonality is going to be where your intentions were misaligned or you victimized yourself. Because they're all self-actuated acts. You did them. You made those choices. You placed yourself so that you would learn these lessons. And I'm always saying, learn the lesson. You're meant to learn and transcend, not learn and become. People, and often over and over again, we become the lesson as opposed to transcending it because we stop at the surface. So, and we'll go into more in-depth stuff, Michelle, in our private 30-minute reading, but sit quietly and start letting the universe speak to you. Hear them, let it play out, and that way you'll see what's going on. And you'll start getting, and then as you go about your day, and then get into a habit of doing it a couple times a week, and you're going to start seeing commonalities and threads that start popping up, and you're going to be like, oh, you're going to be standing in the line at the bank or the grocery store and be like, damn, did I do that? I need to go have an ice cream.
Only one scoop, though.
That's right. But it's going to start happening like that because now the bell's been rung. You're aware that you're doing this. And the minute you become aware of it, it's like every time it happens, the bell rings. And you'll catch yourself and you'll be like, oh, God, dang it, that buffet line. Get me out of here. You'll know. You really will know. You'll see it. And you'll know what is, and I'm using this buffet line because they're showing me that you're very skilled at what you've created because you're smart and you're intelligent and you're driven and you have all these. So you're going to be mindful when you go, oh, God, I'm picking up that one, am I? You'll know what it is. You'll instinctively know what it is. And at that moment, stop and pause and say, I now know, I'm aware, the bell's been rung. I'm aware that I'm picking up, platter 12. Do I really want to pick up platter 12? Or do I want to just put it back down? You'll know. And as you start doing those things, the challenging parts, the negatives will start dissipating. You have a great laugh, you have a great soul, you have a great energy, you have this great spirit, you have this life in you. And that's what they're wanting. They're wanting that element of you to overflow. And when everything's aligned, it's like you'll walk into a room and you'll captivate people without ever having to do anything because it'll be aligned. You won't have to try anymore, you'll just be.
And so while this is going on, should I be like putting my resume out there and trying to get into different different districts and stuff like that? I mean, is that a good thing to do right now?
What they're saying is, don't run it. Never run or hide. i.e. different districts and stuff like that. But what they're saying is, if you'll know when it's time, and you have to hear this and it's tough, when you stop seeing yourself as a victim, you'll know it's time to go put your resume out.
Okay.
So as soon as you can say, because you don't want to repeat the mistake. You don't want to draw to yourself another bad experience. But you also can't sit back and make the choices that you've made and hide the way you've hidden anymore. That's not going to happen. So that's why this is a crunch. That's why, 2014, it's a crunch. We're going to keep giving you stuff. We're going to keep breaking you down until you stop doing it. So they're really bringing it up to the surface for you so that you'll see, this is what I'm doing. And then you'll stop doing it. Because if you just run out and you haven't really sat with yourself, then you're going to repeat the mistakes. And they're not mistakes, they're experiences. Let me put it that way. You're going to repeat the experiences, and you already know what that buffet looks like.
I'm not liking the food on that one.
Right. You've already had a lifetime experience of it, and you don't like it. You know what it brings. So the person that, what's the one thing you have to change? Yourself. If you show up differently, the experience that you draw to yourself will be different. But if you're still the same one, it's not gonna happen. So do that. Get really earnest with yourself. We're gonna, you and I will speak probably next week for our private reading.
Okay.
But between now and then, really spend some earnest time sitting quietly with yourself.
Okay.
Okay? And then that way, you when we talk, we'll have more in-depth. I want to see where you are, and then I'll have more for you. More
okay, wonderful.
What's going on. All right?
Oh,
so
James, thank you so much for your time. It's been an amazing experience to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking with you next week. Barb will take your information. And so we're going to, today I love Express Yourself, and it's probably the show that I will do more and more and more, if not every week. The interesting thing when the universe speaks with people, it's just an amazing, amazing opportunity for you to see what's going on, for you to hear from the universe, from your loved ones, whatever is taking place. That's the opportunity, and Express Yourself does that. You've been listening to Express Yourself with Dear James here live on the Contact Talk Radio Network. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be back to wrap up today's show.
The gift of giving is immeasurable. Give of your time, talent, resources, and money. Give not only because you can, but because by doing so, it is already coming back to you. As a people, we are only as strong as the least among us. Together, we harness the power of the collective whole and see through our deeds the power of miracles, both large and small. Find the charity that's right for you by visiting www.DearJames.com and click on Charitable Giving. One person or kind act really does make the difference. Available for private, individual, group, and corporate consultations, Dear James will provide you with the intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions. Schedule your consultation by going to www.DearJames.com and click on Consultation.
When you ask a question, the universe hears you, and in a multitude of ways, they communicate to you the intuitive insight, answers, and advice you seek. Ask Dear James a question and experience the magic of the universe. Visit DearJames.com and click Ask.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dear James Live on the Radio here on the Contact Talk Radio Network. Today's show has been Express Yourself. Tell it like it is, and then hear what the universe has to say. And I want to thank my two callers, Carla and Michelle. You guys are amazing, and thank you for having the courage to call in and discuss what's going on with yourselves. An amazing thing, there's been a theme today, and the theme has been faith and listening to ourselves, listening to the universe, listening to your spirit. And you have to, I recommend for everybody that we slow down and we listen. I know it's challenging when things are going awry or we've faced a loss. We go into a survival mode, and that's understandable. But you've got to reach that place where you come out of it and we get real and vulnerable with ourselves. And that's where the true answers come out. That's where the universe can be heard. That's where you'll see the signs. That's where things will start making sense. And you'll see all this synchronicity. And, people talk about coincidences, synchronicity. And I say when the universe is really speaking to you, and they do it all the time, your guides, your angels, everyone's speaking to you, there's too many coincidences or synchronicity taking place for it to be anything less than spirit and universe and God and the energy and the angels and everyone speaking to you. Whatever that belief system is for you, they're speaking to you. So have the courage to listen, have the courage and the patience to slow down, sit with yourself, get real and honest with yourselves, and listen. And from that, you'll see the signs, you'll hear the messages, you'll feel them. And like in the case with Carla and Michelle, you will transform and transcend. And you will put yourself into a place of living, of being a participant in life, and realizing that every action you make or inaction you don't take or make affects you. You're driving your boat, your vessel. This is your journey, your life experience. And everybody else that we come into contact with are playing their part. They're a cast of characters, and they're brought to us to play their part brilliantly. But we're the master of our vessel. We're the master of our journey. And so really, it's our decisions that affect us. It's our decisions that propel us forward or keep us stagnant. And in that lies the beauty of the universe. And like today's show, they constantly show me that they are alive and well and kicking and having a good time and wanting us to see their presence and feel it. And not only that, be led by it. It's your true north. Live your life by your spirit, by the universe, by that voice inside of you, because it's your true compass, it's your true north, and they will not lead you astray. And with that, I look forward to doing many, many more Express Yourselves, Tell It Like It Is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. You've been an amazing audience, and it's an amazing group of listeners here at the Contact Talk Radio Network. So I thank you for all of that, and most importantly, I thank the universe for all of their amazing support, because that's how we're all here. So with that, I leave you with my parting and closing thought. No matter where you are, or whom you're with, or what you're doing, remember, wrap yourself in goodness. Thank you so much. This is Dear James live on the radio here on the Contact Talk Radio Network. Please go and submit your questions online at DearJames.com and click Ask. Or you can also do so on the DearJames.com Facebook.com/Dear James LLC on Facebook. Submit your questions. Tweet to me at Dear James on Twitter. Submit your questions, and I will answer them for the live on the show or on the advice column. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Dear James Live on the radio with your host, Dear James. Gain intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions and so much more by tuning in next week and visiting DearJames.com.